Welcome to the counselor tutorial for managing medications. We'll begin in the patient visit screen. It's important to note that medications can be tracked within counselor on a patient encounter by patient encounter basis, meaning that each time you see a patient, you do have the opportunity to track medications. Of course, it's not required, but for each patient encounter where you do track medications, you're able to see that record ongoing, right? So you can look at any change over time. Now, to get medications in place, we'll start here by clicking on the medication tab within the patient visit screen. Now, of course, you can add medications on the fly, either prior to the patient encounter, during, or after. Very simply, you can add the medications and all the related details one by one. We'll come back to that in just a moment. The other methods for getting the medications in place would be to import the results or import your findings from the previous encounter, right? So if you saw the patient 6 months ago, you could simply click import previous and it will bring in those results. So there we go. So we saw this patient previously and those results were, or the medications they had at the time would be aspirin and warfarin. And this gives you a very quick way of being able to update these if things have changed. So maybe you just want to verify with the patient, perhaps nothing's changed. If something has changed, they say, yes, I'm actually down to 2 times per day on the aspirin. Well, great, let's go ahead and make that minor change. It has now been updated, and so you have the correct information for today. Of course, the information from their last visit remains unchanged. All right, so like I said, you can import from previous visits. You also have the ability to import from a questionnaire. So if this patient completed an intake form or case history either online, perhaps you emailed a link to them and they completed everything online, and that questionnaire includes the medication question. Great. Or you had them a tablet computer in the waiting room and they completed it that way. However you manage to have the patient complete the questionnaire, you can simply click on it. You can view that previous questionnaire or import the results. So that'll do the same thing as we saw here, where it'll pull the results directly into the list. That way, once again, you don't have to type. Now, if the patient is entering the information into a questionnaire, of course, you want to make sure you check that very thoroughly. There may be areas where they didn't complete, but much simpler, of course, to go ahead to confirm the information versus having to enter everything manually. Okay, but if it is most appropriate to enter it manually, you can always jump in and click Add Medication, in which case then you can start typing in whatever it is that you are looking for. Okay, you can put in the dosage, you can enter the frequency, delivery method. The frequency, can be per day or month or week, right? So just depending on the specifics on the medication, let's just say once per day, and let's just make something up here. Okay, and then of course you can have additional notes as well. Now, if that's the only one you need to add, you just simply click Continue Main Screen. It'll save it and take you back to the main screen. If, of course, you want to add another one, go for it. You can go and click Save, Add Another, and then you can go ahead and add on the fly, right? So you find whatever it is you're looking for once again and add it. Okay, so let's jump back to the main screen. So let's just remove this guy. All right, and it is important to note that you can start the process, so you could add the medication and then fill in the details later, right? You're not required to do that all at once. Now, with the medications in place, you will see that Counselor does automatically pop up ototoxicity alerts. Now, more specifically, these are ototoxic or areas or medications where there are concerns for oto or vestibular toxicity, right? Not only on specific medications, but potential combinations of medications as well. This is not designed to be an all-encompassing ototoxic and vestibular toxic monitoring system, but it is designed to hopefully give you some heads up on some commonly recognized oto and vestibular toxic medications. Okay, and then with it, it gives a little description about the concern related to that medication. Okay. Now, once we have this list in place, we can view this information in a few different ways. So of course you can bring open the medication report that is going to then show a listing of not only the medications that we collected today, along with their alerts and related details, but also previous encounters with this patient. So in this one report, you have the full history over time. Okay. This report, as I mentioned, can be grabbed right from here. It also can be accessed via the patient profile. So here I'm going to go back into the patient administration screen and then click Actions. And then you'll see that once you have medications reported for at least one visit, you will see the medication report. And that'll do the same thing as I saw before, or I showed you before. It'll bring open that PDF. Of course, this PDF will have your logo and your information. Okay, so very easy to grab that overall. Now let's jump back into the patient encounter. So let's say, okay, we have the medications in place, but I really want to get this in my report, or I really want to get this in my chart note. Absolutely. So the most common area for that would be in the professional report history section. So you jump into edit history. Counselor has a whole series of placeholders specifically for medications. And so under the placeholder tool, we scroll down here to visit, and then we scroll down, we can see there are 3 medication related placeholders. The medication placeholder itself will just give you the names of the medication. Medication's full detail will give you the names plus the full detail, right? So the dosage, frequency, etc. The medication alerts will give the names and a full alert, talking about the potential concerns for vestibular toxicity or ototoxicity, for example. Okay, so you may want to use one of these or a combination of these, whatever best fits your needs. Okay, you of course can grab those on the fly, or even easier, we can assist you with building templates so that you simply can add them. Right? You click on whatever it is that you wish to add. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and click on the full detail. What you'll see, of course, is just the simple placeholder. You don't have to do any more than that. When we jump back to the main screen, what we're going to see is that Counselor will have automatically added that information. So there we go. So it has current medications, has the aspirin, dosage, frequency, etc. Goes all the way down here to the cisplatin. All that information then is auto-filled. Okay, there may be different ways to set this up within your report, however you like. So our support team is happy to work with you to build templates to show this in the way that you specifically prefer. Right? Or if you want that placeholder or placeholders to automatically fill, we can assist you with getting your Counselor Insight set up so that this information auto-fills. Okay. Of course, you could also use those placeholders anywhere else, right? You could have that in the results section, recommendations, in the custom section, in the chart notes, wherever you wish to show this information, those placeholders can be inserted and then automatically fill in the details. Of course, if you change the medications after you've done this, that's perfectly fine. This will automatically update as well. Okay. So, of course, as I mentioned, if you have any questions about this, if you'd like to review the process, if you'd like any assistance with setting up templates, we're very happy to help. Thank you very much for joining us for the Counselor tutorial for managing medications.